Oh, hello. Yes, another Marc and Chums. Now, this for me is an extraordinary experience. You see my travels so far, and talking about my lovely guest today, the Nigel Woodley, we go back more years and more things than we can talk about today, but we're going to try and do it in 55 minutes. So let me introduce you both to, and you over there, Nigel Woodley.
Hello, hello, hello.
And I think, what were you going to say?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice
Now,
to see you again, Mark.
And you. And Nigel and I go back, previous school days. I remember when I was at Greston School, your mum, the lovely Doris,
Bless her.
would turn up looking gorgeous every day.
In the white Triumph Herald convertible.
Always looking stunning.
Yes.
And had this very wonderful accent, which I will not try to emulate in any way, shape or form at all.
Which is amazing considering she came from Ilford.
Well, she was very happy, but very fraffly like that, but in a much better way. She was a stud. She was good looking. I mean, look. And that's where I first met the Woodleys and the Hirons. Now, there's a long story about the Woodleys and the Hirons, and we go back so long it's almost vomit-inducing to remember it, because I think to myself, oh, thank God Nigel's here. He may actually have that wonderful thing, you know, like a videotape being wiped. He'll probably reinterject things in, it's going to be gorgeous. The fact is that Woodleys and the Hirons literally lived up the road, 2 doors up the road from where we lived at Cliff Park House in Marine Crescent, and you lived at Fairhaven, Marine Crescent.
And the Hirons lived in Herne Bay Road.
And the Hirons lived in Herne Bay Road. Now, tell me about, Nigel, how the Hirons and the Woodleys became one.
The Hirons and the Woodleys became one. The Hirons were my maternal, my mother's family side, and the Woodleys were my father's family side. So the Hirons, who lived in Herne Bay Road, were my maternal grandmother, and in latter days my Uncle Jim, who was a character to say the least, as indeed was my grandmother, who was known by everybody as Nanny.
Yeah, Elsie.
Elsie, you called her Elsie, most people called her Nanny.
Well, no, I called her Nanny. I always called her Nanny, and of course Uncle Jim was the most eccentric man, wonderfully funny, and would tell us wonderful stories about his life.
Well, I think the trouble with Uncle Jim is that he spent his entire working life in Africa and never quite came to terms with being back in the UK. So,
yeah,
it did help to his very eccentricity.
Oh no, but, you know, and your dad, of course.
Yes, my dad.
Which remind us of his name.
Reg.
For
clarity, my parents were separated, so my dad didn't live up the road from.
No, not at all. And we won't mention Thunderside. Well, we could mention Thunderside, couldn't we? That's make you laugh, isn't it? So what happened was, you know, we went to school, and we seemed to go into the same school.
Yes, Preston, then Running Home, then Kent College.
And we've got great memories of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to be friends. It was during Kent College, wasn't it, when we started making the films, and we came together, I think, first of all, to make... You were making a Doctor Who film called Threat of the Leviathans.
That's right.
And
although Kevin had made one at a similar time, which was the cartoon, if you remember that one.
I don't remember that one, no.
Well, don't worry about it.
Threat of the Leviathans.
Threat of the Leviathans.
You invited me along, I volunteered to come along and help with a day's filming up at the university, I think it was.
Yeah, University of Kent.
And I got totally bitten by the filmmaking bug. It was that day sold on it, and I think we probably spent the next 4 years of our lives making films together, didn't we?
And I remember on many occasions that we were I think we were very lucky, because we came from I certainly came from a spoilt brat situation, as I was call it. So if I wanted something, I got it. And what I wanted was colour and sound. And my dear dad, who's still with us, George, bought me an 8mm sound camera.
It was a Unique.
It was a what?
It was a Unique, so was your projector.
But the camera that we used.
Yeah.
And he bought the projector as well, didn't he?
You did buy your camera.
That's where that's gone.
I don't know, because we had your camera broke in about the second film we made, and I bought one after that.
Right.
And I bought my own projector as well.
And of course the amount of it was a Kodak, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or 8mm. How much film stock was on there?
You got a cartridge, a cassette, that lasted 4 minutes.
Was it 4 minutes?
Each cassette was 4 minutes, and they were, at that time, I think they were about £4.50 a cassette, which was a huge.
But including
processing.
Including processing.
Which was a huge amount of money, and also bearing in mind that once you shot something, you'd used that film, you could not use it again. So it's not like these cameras we have here, where if something's no good, you just wipe over it and do it again. So we had to be so careful about making sure that we got the shots right.
I think what we used to say, oh, well, we're just editing camera.
Yes, indeed.
But you actually got the bug for editing, because you liked cutting up bits.
I loved editing, yes. I used to use the front bedroom downstairs as my editing suite. I had this old radiator on the front, and I used to have clothes pegs all the way along. And I'd chop up the film into the right order and have it all strung out with all these clothes pegs before putting it all together.
You wouldn't say
very technical.
Oh, hello. What's all that? Oh, hello.
Yeah.
So you would have got the Feather Leviathans, but he caught the bug. What was the one we did after that?
The one we did after that was Ride of the Valkyries.
You're wrong. I'm not saying anything against that tune. Glad to have heard it. But that wasn't the Ride of the Valkyries. I don't know what I was whistling before. I was thinking of something else.
Ride of the Valkyries.
Ride of the Valkyries.
And I actually use the word Valkyries, don't I?
Very, very, very loosely based on a short story by J.B. Priestley. Prior to that, we had spent about 6 months, myself and another guy called Tim Steele, writing a script for something that was slightly like Randall and Hopkirk Deceased. And we spent ages writing this, and we got a cast together, and we did a kind of just a run through of the script, and it was absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. So it went in the box, and we started all over again.
But remember, I was right about that tune.
Oh, no, you were not. I only said that to store for order. Well, who's right? Bloody hell. I wanted to take that was a story. Hope you enjoyed it. Now for the best bit. I am going to tell you...
Excuse me. Could you tell me the way to walk?
Yes, it's down the road. First branch on the roundabout, carry straight on. Second left after South Africa, and it's on your right and you can't miss it, okay? Right. Make it 20 seconds. Oh.
It was a thought. You never know what we could do now.
Indeed, yes.
Digitally.
So we wrote the Ride of the Valkyries, which was kind of a comedy, slapstick kind of venture. And Marc played a leading role in it, didn't you? Thomas Hepplethwaite.
Thomas Hepplethwaite, yeah. Campus Tits.
You were, yes, and I've got there's some nice little clips that I've got that we'll share later.
Right as well.
We had a lot of friends from school involved. We managed to do a custard pie fight on.
I remember Nanny.
Tankton Slopes, do you remember that?
Yeah, Nanny walked down the promenade near Marine Crescent and all of that, and had a
ice cream in her face.
A 99 in her face.
Yep.
And somebody had to go.
Yep.
Oh, Dan. Oh, stop mucking about. Oh.
I do remember also, for some reason, Southern Television got involved.
Day by Day.
Day by Day?
Day by Day used to have a little feature called Happy News, where it's sort of like an and finally, you know, where after all the grim news of the day, they do something happy. So they did this little clip. They sent a guy called Arnie Wilson down.
Was it Arnie Wilson?
Yep.
No idea. How do you remember that?
It's like a video recorder in my brain you were talking about earlier. Arnie Wilson came down with a film crew. We
16 mil?
Probably.
The ordinary town. And inside one of the houses in this road, a perfectly ordinary businessman is about to start a perfectly ordinary day.
Making it to Hollywood is not too easy for aspiring young starlets these days, but you could always try Pankerton. All right, it hasn't got quite the same ring about it, and budgets tend to be a little bit lower. But at least you're almost guaranteed to get onto celluloid, or whatever the plastic equivalent they use these days, if you've got a modicum of talent. Two young filmmakers, Marc and Nigel Woodley, who live a few doors from each other along the seafront, are making their third movie. It's a frolic about Whitstable. The actual details of the plot are a bit hazy. There is a script, but they throw in quite a bit of impromptu material for their cast, mainly local children who've answered their appeals for actors.
Can I get the camera down now?
Ready?
Are we down there?
Yes.
Well, that's the story. God, wasn't it boring? Well, I expect you're all dying to know who was right about that tune. Well, it was, We're going to wait till it's finished and see how good it is before we
Before we really show it to anybody that is of influence to anything at all, that we hope it's going to be a success.
I expect you're all dying to know who was right about that tune.
Remember Merge on the Orient Express?
I think we could have a lovely bit of blood all over the floor. Can we have a bit of blood?
We find it extremely funny when we get the film back from the processors. We can't stop laughing at ourselves.
So even if you don't get your wish and get a job someday in television or in film, you will have had some fun.
Yeah, great deal.
Yes, yes. That's the whole thing. Fun.
My God, this is boring. So incredibly boring. Nothing ever happens these days. All the time.
Anyone who wants to take part only has to ask. But please don't ring us. And I'll echo that plea from Arnold Wilson.
Yeah, so yeah, that was Happy Days. And I remember...
It was great fun. It was great fun. It was rubbish. The film was rubbish, but it was great fun.
No, you can't. No. A lot of people say about things we did in the past. You know, I've been on television talking about what we had done. As amateurs and all that. But the fact is that we did it, and we then was able to give other people that were involved their opportunities to go and do something else. And we know several of them who've gone further on. To make films and TVs and things, and we all know who they are.
Yeah, yeah.
And my point was, is that called half?
Must be.
Yeah. But that point for me, Nigel, is the fact we got some together as kids.
Yes, self-starting. I think that's the point, isn't it? That's the point you're trying to make. It's self-starting. Nobody made us do it.
But you got bitten by the bug anyway, didn't you?
We sat down together and said, we're going to do this, and we did it.
Yeah.
And I think we did learn. I mean, we were on a massive learning curve through all the films we successfully made, because if you look at them one after another, each film is a step change from the previous one in terms of...
But you made other ones without me. What were they?
The only ones I made without you were when I was at university. Obviously you weren't there then, so you couldn't be involved.
I was never involved.
I'd rather talk about the ones we made together.
You made other ones, let's put it that way. They did something which I wasn't involved called Psychopath's Picnic.
Oh, that was a little short that we made for Screen Test, which was a kids' TV programme introduced by Michael Broad. It's a kids' TV program. Every year they used to run a young filmmakers competition, and we made this film called The Psychopath's Picnic, a 4-minute short, and submitted it for the competition, which sadly we didn't win, but got a very nice letter saying it was a highly commended entry. So.
Psychopath's Picnic. I know, if I remember rightly, at the very end, you do see the teddy bear.
Yes, there is a teddy bear at the end who comes on vociferously complaining that it was supposed to be his picnic. And he was going to write to Michael Rodd and complain.
You know, I know now you're retired, aren't you?
Yes. After the last film we made together, I went off to university, and I think we kind of went our separate ways then. And after leaving university, I sadly stopped being involved in the filmmaking and theatricals business entirely, and never returned to it.
So what did you end up doing?
I qualified as a chartered surveyor, worked at that in year 2001. I set up my own business, which went very well, sold it 3 years ago, and retired ever since. So one day I'm hoping we'll make another film together.
There's a film. So back to films. We had done, you had done Psychopath's Picnic and all. That was the one after that.
After Psychopath's Picnic must have been Once Bitten, Twice Shy, which was a sequel to Rise of the Valkyries.
And you, Tom, what's your specialty? I never did find out.
I'm not surprised.
Why?
I'm the office cleaner.
Say, Tom, that's really something else. Hey, but what's all this about? I'm the sort of guy they need at Ludenstall Research. My God, Tom, you are a lying hound. Ooh.
I'm a very special kind of cleaner. Sort of, troubleshooting cleaner, as it were. Once I had to clean all the pigeon dirties off the top of Nelson's Common.
You called it a sequel.
Well, it's the same characters. Except I think you had a smaller part in it because you went off to the Middle East.
Yeah. Nigel Kelly. Well, not Nigel Kelly, Nick Kelly. Sorry, Nigel.
Nick Kelly.
I'm getting quite confused there.
Yes, you would only do a few bits in it. So
I played a vampire.
You played a vampire, and you also played your previous character, Thomas Hepworth.
Well, I went over to France to polish the top of the Eiffel Tower. Oh, it was lovely. And when I came back, when I was on the sea, the Pooey boat sank. We can imagine how I felt. I had to swim back on this. Imagine me in the sea. Isn't it big?
My God. Oh, yeah. What a lovely one.
Well, there I was in the sea. And you just couldn't. I was in a terrible state. Well, you know what I mean.
Yes.
But what are you doing?
Well, you see, I'm being chased over there. Look.
Oh.
Wow!
Oh, Michael.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm so...
Yeah.
I'm terribly
Oh,
sorry.
you are nasty.
Oh, and you are my little brother as well.
I know, it's not very brotherly, is it?
Oh, my God. I knew my mother was... Oh, Michael. I am sorry.
Well, cheer up. Come on, what are we going to do about that?
Oh, I've just got the thing. Parisian tomato.
Oh, lovely.
Look at that.
Oh.
You ended up in the sea, I ended up in the mud. Tide was in for you, the tide was out for me.
And I had to put a wetsuit on, didn't I?
Yes, because it was April. The North Sea's quite cold in April.
Or the Channel, whatever you want to call it.
So
And didn't I come up and say, you fucking bastard?
you did, because the film ran out. So it never got captured on film. Those little 4-minute cassettes weren't quite long enough.
You didn't know what to do.
So you just got to the end of the boat and then click, the film finished and you went into the water. Never seen on film.
There's photographic evidence somewhere, I think, of me coming up.
Whitstable Times were there, I think.
Hmm?
The Whitstable Times were there.
That's probably the
Photos.
photograph.
Yeah.
I wonder who's
They didn't look very happy.
It was a bit cold. So what we then did, I had been away, I came back, and then there was an extraordinary thing called the New Avengers. which I have my lovely friend Rennie Glynn, who I was supposed to do a Marc and Chums with, unfortunately now passed away at the age of 95 this year, 8th of April. And she was, would you believe, the script supervisor and the whole of the New Avengers.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
So, the New Avengers film that we made
The New Avengers
was called The Exceptionals. Characters were not Purdy, Gambit and Steed, but Prudy, Gamble and Weed. Grow competition. Yes. It was good fun. It was very ambitious, very, very ambitious, I think. And the villain was kind of a throwback from your days in the Middle East, because Marc played the villain in it, but he disguised himself as an Arab with the headgear and
a bit of latex,
and there is a lovely kind of revealing scene in it where he's pulling all this latex off his face.
Prudy, where are you? Okay, I know it. I'll be there as soon as I can.
That mucked that one up, didn't you, Jack?
No, not completely. Because that stupid woman played with fire, I think we have gained some time. We can still get rid of her.
Oh, don't be so stupid. The police will be guarding your ties to Fort Knox.
Haven't we already proven how ineffectual the police are?
Look, I'm getting worried. Look, we killed 3 of them off. Can't you just play us off and give us the pointing?
You were hired to kill 4 people. And until those 4 people are killed, you shall not be paid. I want my revenge, and I want it in full. Besides, they are looking for an Arab-looking gentleman. So let us hear no more talk of this until you have finished your tasks. Then it will be £50,000 each, plus the aeroplane tickets, as we agreed.
Yeah, I mean, the film was, it was streets better than anything else we've made to date, I think. It took 6 months. And
it's extraordinary.
The acting was good, yeah.
On 8mm.
Yes.
What was it, the possibilities we had, because of the technology we had at the time.
Yeah, I mean, 8mm is technically very constricting, because the sound is a big issue with 8mm, because you've got tiny little magnetic stripes down each side of the film, and you have to mix the sound on those little magnetic stripes, which, as you guess, don't have a big bandwidth. So it does present challenges, shall we say?
Well, I remember during the Exceptionals, I get killed at the end, having ripped
I get
off.
killed in the Exceptionals as well, if you remember. We both get killed in the Exceptionals.
Do we?
I get killed without saying a word, like Alfred Hitchcock. I make an appearance for 5 seconds and then I'm dead.
No, let's make another film. Bung on the star, darling, in title. I get killed, and I remember we didn't have any blood, so what we used was Nanny Elsie's.
Ketchup and a bit of jam.
No, it wasn't. It was her very expensive tomato paste.
Oh, right, yes. Yes.
And I get shot here or something.
I think you had it in your cup in your
And I
hand
had
like
it-
that, and when you got shot, you went like that, so it all splattered out. And you were in a ditch of water as well. As well.
Swelcombe.
Yeah.
Which used to be, that particular area used to be sewage.
Yes, it is.
There's one thing.
Things I put you through.
Oh no, I enjoyed. No, it was great. But I think before that, didn't we do Ocean in the Sky?
Well, Ocean in the Sky went over a long period of time, if I remember. I think you started it one year and finished it the following year. The Ocean in the Sky was very much your baby, whereas the Exceptionals was my baby.
Mail not complete.
Could be worth closer investigation.
You jam signals to Mars.
Probably. I'll get to work on it.
Good. Keep monitoring Earth, though.
Copy.
Well, Stevens, do you fancy a trip in the shuttlecraft?
I'd like it.
That's fantastic.
Well, this is true.
And what are you going to do now?
I'll land Carl. I'll get the controls linked up.
Carl, I'll come with you. We'll maintain unilastic contact. You, Green, come in when we know everything's all right. We'll land first.
But I agree. We need you in the background to support, just in case.
Excellent.
Ah, we've arrived. Wow. Now, we have to contact our pilot. This is just what we want, I think. Forward space to our boiler. Forward space to our boiler.
I directed it and you acted. In Ocean Sky was the other way around.
You can call it that.
You directed and I had.
We've always had that sort of, I wouldn't say diatribe, but it was always there. Oh, you tell me what to do.
Yeah,
Get on with
that's the thing.
Ocean in the Sky. Now, didn't we play, I can't know, Owen Tudor, I think, wrote the piece.
That rings a bell, yes. I've probably seen it more recently than you have.
I did see him. He now was in politics or something like that. My point was, bringing back Ocean in the Sky it was just huge fun to do, but as again, with the exception, it was too ambitious, ridiculously ambitious to do that on 8 millimeters.
Yes, especially with the special effects.
Well, who did the special effects?
Well, some of them I think were you.
No.
And some of
Kevin John James.
Yes. Little spaceships taking off and things.
Cast six engines allocated for slow burn. Affirmative, cast six. This is Commander Earth Space Base. Slow burn commence, 20 seconds. Copy. Activate countdown. Now. Countdown activated.
Behind those lights.
Once more up the breach. Sam Gavin never used to do.
Me too. I did once and nobody fight for us. Scared the airplane system went off their head.
I'd rather not know.
And the TARDIS we had actually was Matt Irvin from Doctor Who, special effects, who actually gave us his TARDIS from the BBC, and that was used, but it didn't come to any result. It was sort of stuck on a bit of string and going wobbling about.
Yes.
what it's all about. And that distinctly worries me. Did you get green? No. Look, everybody. There's a raid alert. They've all been ordered to leave. Obviously, they've been sent to their coded areas.
You are human. What were you doing in that spacecraft?
I don't have to answer your questions. Who are you? What place is this?
We do not answer questions from humans. What do you know of the Doctor?
Shocking. I wanted a bummety bum, but I didn't even get a OEU. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So then, having done it, you played. Now, weren't we a couple of troopers or something?
I think we were pilots, space pilots.
Space pilots. Do you want another drop in there?
Yes, thank you.
I'll pour my own if you don't mind.
No, go ahead. Yes.
Not even a bloody bag of crisps. Disgrace. Yeah, so what was I playing? I can't remember.
You, I think, were a character called Colonel Barry.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I was...
We had jumpers.
I was a character called, as I mentioned earlier, Carl Ardweiler, which I think sounds like a newly discovered marsupial.
Well, I said it actually sounds like you've got an ointment on.
Yeah.
You prepare to capture the humans, their minds and their ships. Prepare. These two ships will bring us into central control distance with the battle fleet orbiting Mars. We shall then transport our densest mind masses and bridge the hiatus with the power drain through our blue hole. We shall not fail.
Did we not use the inside of your mother's Ford Fiesta as the inside of the spaceship?
No, we actually used, at Crib Park House, we used the spare garage and put...
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah,
yes.
loads of stuff
yes.
off that Dad had left. He's still with us. And all that, and we just tried our level best to make it look... I mean, it did look... When you're looking at it in the element, you know, and all that, and we utilising things like, I remember my sister had hamsters, so we're using that sort of roll-around business and all that. We're all sitting there going, woo, like that. And loads of silver, whatever it was. It was good fun to do.
It was.
And I remember at the end of, well, we fight each other at one point.
I don't we fight each other, do we? I have a fight, but it's with one of the baddies. I've got the advantage on you because I did run through these the other day looking for clips.
Well,
so.
Wearing a black and...
There was a guy wearing a black leather thing, yeah. Commander Purdue, he was called.
Commander Purdue?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. It's on, well, the titles were out, all the titles were all out of focus, am I right?
They weren't, well, they tried to do them on this computer screen.
Out of focus?
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you, Nigel. Your family were great friends to me back in the day. All of them. And you were 3. Nigel, Diane, and Judy, who appeared in probably all the films we did. Bless them.
I think they did. Yeah, well, Diane played the lead role in Ocean and Sky.
Gina.
Yeah, she was the doctor's assistant.
Played by Leo Adams.
Yes.
Who was knocking on then.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's around now.
No, he's
20.
Oh, a long time ago. And now, of course, Diane lives in, and Judy, they live in America now.
They do, yes. Diane lives in just outside Salt Lake City in Utah. And Judy lives in upstate New York.
Well, of course, my husband was educated in New Jersey, so, you know. And that's interesting because he has this sort of anglicised American sort of Costa Rican accent. God knows. When he tries to do an RP, I say, oh, do stop it, for God's sake, it doesn't sound quite right. But it is that my situation is, I remember going to your wedding, beautifully, thank you.
1995.
Uncle Jim was still alive, I think.
He was at the wedding, yes, he was, yeah.
Yeah. And Uncle Jim and I sit in his car, laughing the whole way down there to where the reception was. And we carried on laughing. Uncle Jim, to me, he was my surrogate uncle. As was, Elsie and Doris and all that. We were like a surrogate family to me. Although, no offence to my own family. I think what was, the fact is, I had indulgent, wonderful people that lived up the road and we just got on very well. We liked to fag, we liked to ciggy.
Yeah.
And tell them about Uncle Jim's wine.
Oh, yes. Uncle Jim used to make this homemade wine. He bought these kits that would make 35 bottles at one go. But you're supposed to, when you make wine, you're supposed to ferment it and then leave it for a few months to settle and clear and make it look nice. As soon as it was fermented, he would siphon it into bottles. It would be this cloudy, thick mixture. And he'd drink about 3 bottles of this stuff a day. And more to the point, he'd try and force it on visitors, didn't he?
Well, and we did.
Well, because we had nothing else to drink, because we were too poor.
I do remember when I went to see Uncle Jim for the very last time, he was in a home.
He was when he had cancer, yes.
Yeah, when he had cancer. And I know he liked whiskey. So I went in with a friend, Liz Kelly's mum, who came with me, who had a terrible problem with the right side. You would remember. And I went in and Betty said, oh, don't come in until I sat over there. You go in, I'm going to sit over there. I said, all right then, darling. And I go, Uncle Jim's sitting there in his knickers. And he goes, oh, my dear boy. And I bought him a bottle and said, oh, do put it on the bar. Which was on television, one of those old television sets. Yes. And I said, that's a bloody big bar, isn't it? He said, it's all right, I'll get through it. I won't be watching television, but I will be getting through that. And he was a fascinating man.
Yes, he was married 3 times. I don't think any one woman could put up with him. It's probably a fair comment.
Well, I was able to put up with him because he was so funny.
He was very funny, yes.
I remember,
and outrageous.
Oh, and he didn't mind me being homosexual at all. I mean, he actually indulged.
No, he didn't mind. I mean,
I remember I had do you remember we had a Christmas all together?
Yes.
And I said, oh, stop this, I'm going to put some makeup on. I went in and he looked at me and said, what the hell have you come as? Right, I just thought that I'd look nice. He said, sit down and have a drink. And we did. And our lovely Nan, Elsie, was so funny. How the hell did she put up with all this stuff?
I don't know, but I think one of the greatest things about my mother and my uncle and my grandmother was that none of them had any prejudice. They weren't prejudiced people. So they would accept someone as they found them. And I think they all accepted you. I think sometimes you used to come round to us for a solace, didn't you?
And in fact, your mum, no offence to my mum, who's now dead, was, a mentor to me.
Yeah.
And she said, do calm down and all that. And it wasn't a problem. The fact that I felt like a second home. Well, about 3 homes in Whitstable. I could go round, Fairhaven and all that, and up the road and all that. And we had a lovely cat. You had a cat called Caesar.
We actually had 3 cats, but Caesar was the nicest.
You used to actually, when I was at the Cliff Park House, used to actually, on my window, because I had the bottom bedroom.
Yeah.
I said, Caesar, you've got to go home. And he loved me. He did, and he was one of those that would come in and colour you like no one's business. And when he wanted to go, he would just go out the door, out the window, and go back home.
Yeah. Funny enough, we have a cat now who is dead ringer for Caesar.
It was a good-looking cat.
Yeah, our cat now, Jack, he's a big tabby, and he's a rescue cat. He was found as a kitten, he was found on a dump with his mother and 2 sisters. He was only about 3 weeks old or something when he was rescued. But he's done well for a rescue cat. He has a pretty comfortable life now.
Of course he's done. I bet he's not on whiskers.
He's on more expensive stuff than whiskers.
Now, I'm going to have to say this now because I'm going to be very, very upset. My darling friend Nigel Woodley, through what is known as a wonderful recipe, is the best pickled onion maker on earth.
Well, thank you.
I bet he hasn't bought any.
I don't have any at the moment, sadly.
Yeah, because he eats them. That's why he passed.
But I've recently I've extended it so I should grow the onions as well. So,
really?
So I can do a real, table ground to table, fork to grass, whatever you call it, kind of scenario. So, but I've grown a double amount of onions this year, so there's going to be some spare.
I don't believe a word of it.
You wait till you get a little Christmas gift-wrapped box.
I think the last time I came to your lovely place in Kent, I got a little one. It lasted about 3 minutes.
Yeah,
as soon as you open them, you've got to have them with good cheese and all that.
Oh, they're lovely.
Not Uncle Jim's.
No, nice red wine, a good cheddar and the pickled onions.
Yeah.
As well. But that's the recipe I got from Nanny.
It was Nanny's, wasn't it?
I've tweaked it a little bit, and I think every generation probably tweaks, because she probably got it from her grandmother and tweaked it a bit, so every generation tweaks it. But I add a little bit of sugar now, which I think
there's nothing wrong with sugar. Nothing wrong with a bit of
sugar.
No,
she never put sugar in it, but I think I just like to take the edge off the vinegar with the sugar. That's personal taste.
Well, wherever they are, they're always gorgeous. And when was the last time I came over to yours and we showed every film?
Yes.
And your wife and daughter weren't there, which is probably a good idea.
Yes, they were probably up visiting Claire's parents in the Midlands at the time. So that would have been, I don't know, 2003, 2004, something like that. Tara was born in 2000. You came to the christening as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
So we had the christening in the church and then a party
one of those dudes,
in the afternoon with a little bit of wine.
I don't know which one it was. Was it that one? No, when you and I slept upstairs after we'd done watching our films, but that one, I was given that nice place in your sort of annex thing with a nice comfortable place to sit down. There were loads of people there, if I remember rightly.
At the christening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I stayed that night. And it was beautiful. I remember you and I walking up the glass or something up. Everything was going on, and we just said, let's have a walk up here.
Yes, because you can go up to the top of the garden and there's a field, so you can lean on the 5-bar gate and look out at the field there. Very tranquil, very peaceful. Lovely place to live unless you want to get anywhere.
Did you drive to...
Today?
Mm.
No, Claire dropped me off at the station.
Yes.
And then because we kind of had a mutual agreement because it's so expensive to park your car in Ashford. I know this isn't going to be very exciting for the film, but...
Well, no, it's just something that he can drop in, you know.
It costs £8.30 a day to park your car at Ashford, so it costs £13 to come down here on the train. It seems ridiculous. You pay nearly as much.
Well, no, I actually, now listen, £13 from Galactic Zero Centre, yours, down to Eastbourne, is £12.50 from me from Brighton to here.
I have a rail card. Do you have a rail card? A rail card. You can get an over 60s one. I'm applying for an over 60s one in August.
Nigel is actually a few years younger than me, with more hair. And more teeth, by the look of it.
Yeah, I had one ground down last week.
No, all mine fell out. I do have a thing, but we did a film recently called The Book of Mauritius, which was done in colour and then now converted into this high definition black and white. I'll send you the link. It's very surreal. And I was just saying, when I first saw it, which was yesterday, I went, oh, my teeth look dreadful. And what did you say?
Worked for the character or something.
Dirty old sod. It's all that sort of thing. I'm playing a monk.
Yeah, because of Rasputin.
Well, I don't think it was. No, it wasn't. It was actually a bit sorting out that, a bit snide, you know. But we did do several. The one thing I'd like to ask you: do you want to write a script for a short?
Or can we reshoot one of yours that did or did not?
He was the one that's doing.
Actually, I haven't written a script for years. Yeah, no, I mean, the temptation is always there.
If you want to dig one out, is that fun?
Thank you. You apply me with enough drink, so I say yes, aren't you?
No, the fact, I did say to Stephen, I said, you know, Nigel, we talk about youth. Nigel has an inquiring mind and very good at being witty, because you were very witty. You would put things, and I thought, well, that's actually clever. You know, so it can be anything you like. Would you like to do the opportunity of doing it?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I did look at joining the Canterbury filmmakers when I retired to start doing filmmaking again. Of course, that coincided with COVID, so they stopped doing anything. So I never took it any further.
Well, there's your opportunity. Would you like to?
Yes, I would very much like to do it. What to be able to do is to do something using the technology that's available now.
That's what...
I don't know how to edit electronically.
Oh, no, you...
Yeah.
You write the script.
Yeah.
You can even be in it, because I know you're an actor occasionally. No, it's an idea.
No, it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
No, because I always said...
I've got a camera similar to these as well, somewhere.
No, you know, honestly, Nigel, you know, and this is still part of the programme, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yes, it will be there, yes.
So, Nigel, would you have any thoughts and ideas of a possible script? I know that's putting on, you know, the level here.
I would need to think about it for a little while.
What form of genre do you think would suit your writing?
I've always enjoyed comedy, but comedy's the hardest.
Can I just tell you something, Nigel? I've made how many?
About 12.
I always play protagonists. I think we've done one comedy, two comedies.
One
comedy, which was actually really came out. Well, it's not bad, really. But it was written with you and somebody else, wasn't it?
Well, yes. It was his concept. I wrote it. Yes.
So I love comedy because he was saying to us, "Can we do a bit of comedy?"
Yeah, I mean the trouble with comedy, the trouble with comedy is, I think that it's a very personal thing. What do you find funny? And the best comedy I've done is writing, when I was at university, writing with someone else. So we wrote together, we did a stage review, we did a pantomime, we did a film, and we did a radio show. And we wrote together, and I think that's much better, because you can immediately chuck out
so
the
you
ideas.
haven't got just that blank page.
As long as you're happy to sit down together and say, sorry mate, that idea's crap, and not be offended by it.
Oh no, we've had several in from Salika and all of that, and in majority there are always antagonists and protagonists in it. It's either horror or occasionally related to the titties out. Dirty old buggers.
Art films.
There's one in there called Fart Films, with a couple there. But no, comedy, we did one called Dr. Eisenhurst, and I have to say, because there had a lot of farts and all of that in it, was to me, and how long was that?
26 minutes.
26 minutes. Now you think that's a short, it's 45 minutes as a short. So you could do something in 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And the comedic value has to come from, you might write the scenario, and there may be jokes, but what is the joke? You see what I mean?
Well, you've got to have a situation to hang everything round, haven't you? I'll tell you, the comedy that I love at the moment is Mischief Theatre. I don't know it. The Play That Goes Wrong, Peter Bang Goes Wrong, The Goes Wrong Show.
It's very fun. It's hilarious.
Have you seen any of those?
I've seen all of them. I think, how the hell does it get?
Magic Goes Wrong, they did with Penn and Teller. It's great. Grown Ups. I've seen them all. I absolutely love them. That's my kind of humour, but that is so difficult to do.
But most of those devised, if you think of it ever
it is, but it's mostly
you know,
seeing it on stage. They're so clever, and you've got to be so fit and agile. And whatever you do, it's not us too long.
Agile. Speak for yourself. You imagine me being agile. Shut up now. No, but the thought is, that attitude toward it is a good idea. Then take that and do a wee premise of possibilities, and then think about it. If you want somebody else to come in and write with you, I'm sure you'll find one.
I'll go and give it some thought. I mean, now that I don't work, I've got time to invest in it. So,
if you want to direct it, you can do it. Not a problem.
Thank you.
You're very good.
That's a very, very attractive scenario.
Well, I always thought, Nigel,
I sound like a businessman there, aren't I? It's a very attractive scenario. With further consideration.
That's why they're making that noise. No. The plan is for you to indulge yourself.
Yeah.
And he will do it.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. Sounds great. Maybe I'll dust off one of my old unused scripts, rewrite it, revisit it.
So I'm so pleased to my dear friend Nigel Woodley, and we go back so many years, and it makes you want to vomit. But the fact is, friendship for all these years, we've known each other. It's more important than whatever's going to happen in the future, as long as you keep your friends. Your friends are most important, delightful, and all the families you've been involved with over the years, past and perhaps future, are superb. So on that note, it's Marc and Nigel.
Ciao.
So take your bra off now.